Hi, and welcome to this first session of Yoga with Tracy, this short introductory session to help you get a feel for the way I teach and for my regulars as just a little top up for during the week if you feel you need a short, around 15-minute practice. This practice is aimed at starting the day, so getting us ready for movement. So a really good practice for first thing in the morning. We don't need any props, although you might find it useful to have a small folded blanket or a throw or even a towel nearby, particularly if you struggle with your knees being on the ground. So we're going to start lying down. So find yourself as comfortable a position as you can, and it's probably useful to start with the knees bent facing the ceiling and the feet planted on the floor. You can rest your hands by your side or rest them on your abdomen. And start by bringing your attention to the breath. Feel the breath entering and leaving the body. And just tune into how you're feeling. And just the mere noticing of the breath is often enough to help it lengthen and soften. And we begin the process of coming into the practice and relaxing. Just feel your body dropping down into the ground. Be aware of any areas of tension. And if you feel anywhere where you're holding, contracting the muscles, send the breath there and softly try to release. And as this is just a 15-minute practice, we're going to move quite quickly into movement. So with the hands down by the side and the feet firmly imprinted on the ground, making sure that the whole of the footprint is connected with your mat. We're going to start with a few pelvic tilts. Now, these aren't bridge, you're not coming off the ground. You're just going to start by tucking and untucking the pelvis. Quite a subtle movement, but you might be able to feel the beginning of that sense of a wave of movement through the whole spine. And as we do this movement, we start to bring some movement to the spine, to the pelvis, to the abdomen. We're connecting through our upper back, our feet, and our legs. You may even feel your head getting involved as you gently tilt the pelvis backwards and forwards. And then just allow the pelvis to settle. Be aware of anything that maybe has changed in your connection to the ground. And then we're going to move on to some simple arm and leg extensions. So place the palms of your hands down onto the mat. And we're going to start with our right side, slowly and carefully raising the arm up towards the ceiling and then over to the ground behind our head. You'll be aware of a lengthening of the right side of the chest and the waist. Maybe a slight arching of the back as the arm goes over. And bring that arm back. And just repeat that in your own time, twice more. Slowly and tentatively noticing the movement throughout the whole body, what needs to lengthen and stretch, what needs to contract and shorten. Just once more. And then when the arm comes to rest on the ground, take a breath or two, just to feel the difference between the side you've moved and the side you've yet to move. And then we'll move on to the left. And again, in that first movement, feeling into that lengthening along the left side of the trunk this time. Working with your breath. Repeat that twice more. And when you've done that twice, more to that left side, you can just let your arms rest on the ground. Let body settle. And then bring the knees one at a time in towards the chest. You feel as your knees come up that perhaps your back will be straighter against the ground. You'll have lost that curve of the lumbar spine as the legs are drawn in towards the chest. And we're going to do some leg extensions. Again, 3 each side. So keeping the left knee into the chest. Slowly raise the right foot towards the ceiling. Just get it as straight as is comfortable. Don't force into tight hamstrings. When you've got your foot as high as it wants to go, as straight as it wants to go, flex your foot so that the whole of the sole of the foot is facing the ceiling. So you bring your foot down and repeat that twice more to that side. Bring the foot up, flexing the foot to face the ceiling, slowly lowering it back. And take a second to reset every time you come down. You'll probably find that your knees have moved a little bit further apart or further away from the chest. And your final one, you might want to take into a little bit more of a hamstring stretch. We're using this session to get us ready for movement, for our day ahead. And then you can move on to the other foot. So again, first time, try not to stretch too far. Flex the foot. And that automatically brings quite a strong sensation down the hamstring. Lower the foot. And then twice more. Remembering to flex the foot when you get to the top. And that instantly brings in a much stronger sensation into the whole of the leg. And on your final one, you might want to try and bring the leg further to straight, feeling maybe a stretch into the calf. Flex the foot so the sole's facing the ceiling, and then bring the leg down. And then we're just going to bring those movements together. So raising the arms and the legs together. Soles of the feet pointing towards the ceiling. And down, knees back into the chest. And twice more. Working with the breath. And then you can bring your hands to your knees. Just have a little rock and roll side to side. making sure you're not carrying any tension in your back. And roll yourself over. And we're going to come to hands and knees. And this is why you might need that blanket. So if you have knees that don't like to be holding your body weight on the ground, might help just to have the blanket underneath the knees. And we're going to do a couple of cat-cow movements here. So we come back to that movement we did with the pelvis. So the tucking, and as we tuck, we bring our head down, arch our back up like an angry cat. And then we can send our pelvis back, our sit bones going towards the wall behind, and lift our head. Just stay with that movement a few more times. You might feel some clunky bits in the back. You might want to move more into those bits. You might want to spend a little bit of time either in cat or cow, or you might want to move dynamically through the positions. This is a lovely way to wake up the spine, the shoulders, the neck. And then just settle back into your tabletop position. And now we're going to move a little bit more towards standing. So again, find that neutral position, that start position in tabletop. And we're going to move towards sprinter. So turn the toes under, walk your hands back, and let your bottom come towards your heels. And take one leg forward, doesn't matter really which leg you start with, we're going to do both sides. Keep the other toes turned under. And we're going to start moving towards our standing position, thinking about our footprint in the ground, the movement in our pelvis and in our hamstrings. So we can come a little bit forward, pushing into the back leg, bringing the back leg towards straight, keeping the chest in contact with the front thigh the whole time. And you may move towards bringing your back heel to the ground, but don't feel that that's a necessity, particularly the first time you do this. You might need to warm yourself up a little bit. Allow yourself to come down, bottom back towards that back foot. And then once more, slowly, feeling how the pelvis moves, what you need to do, where you need to release, to allow yourself that flexibility to move the back heel towards the ground. Come back and step over and do this on the other side. So toes under, and this in itself is a good movement to help your toes become flexible and to start moving them towards movement. Bring the other foot forward. And your hands on the ground either side of that foot, your chest, left side of your, sorry if you're using your left foot the second time, the side of your chest on that front leg, just resting gently there. Push into your back heel, straightening the back leg towards the ground. And maybe this first time you won't reach the ground. Maybe it won't reach the ground at all today. It would be dependent on how you feel. Come back. And then push again into your back leg, keeping the body in line with that leg resting on the thigh. So the energy you're exerting is through the legs. We're starting to strengthen the legs towards the movement for our day. Come back to your start position. And now we're going to come to standing. So roll back onto your feet. So you come into a little bit of a squat. And this time, you're going to push through both heels, stretching your legs, keeping your chest in contact with your thighs until you come to Uttanasana, forward fold. And then from here, gently roll yourself up to standing. And once we are standing, we're going to just do a movement to shake out the fascia of the body. So we're really ready for the movement of our day. And the fascia is that incredible connective tissue that runs around and through every part of the body. So we'll start with the hands. Just let the hand hang off the wrist. You're shaking the hand, letting it hang, starting to bring some warmth and movement into that fascia. And then you can move that to the forearm, letting the arm hang off the elbow. The arm's really passive, so it's being shaken. It's not shaking itself. Feels almost like the arm's made of rubber. And then the whole arm. So let the arm hang out the shoulder as you bring movement to the whole arm. And then the other side, starting with the hand, letting it hang passively from the wrist, and then into the forearm, and let the shoulder, just let the arm hang out of the shoulder and move that, and just give both arms a little bit of shake. We're going to move into the foot, so you can lift your foot and let it hang from the ankle, and just see if it's possible to get that same kind of sense of movement that you had in the hand coming through the foot, and then the lower part of the leg coming out of the knee, and then the whole of the leg just coming from the hip, the leg hanging passively and shaking. Onto the other side, start with your foot into the lower leg, and then the whole leg. And then you can add the arms and the legs and start bringing in the body. So you can shake your tail feathers, shake your body, maybe move your head. Just give yourself permission to move however your body feels. It's a lovely way to start loosening up those connections through the body, letting the fascia slip and slide over itself to give you the best possible movement in your day ahead. And to finish, we're going to come to Tadasana. So legs hip width apart. A little bend in the knee if you're prone to hypermobility and locking out the knees. Let the pelvis align itself over the knees and the heels, the upper body, the ribs, the chest, over the pelvis. Let the shoulders drop down the back, and then bring your attention to the head. And I sometimes like to just move the head backwards and forwards a little bit to find that place where the neck can fully support the head. Imagine you're being drawn up through the ground, from the ground through to the ceiling. Maybe draw up through your inner arches so you can connect into your legs. With the shoulder blades. And down, drape down the back. And you might want to experiment with where you place your hands. And either close your eyes or just soften your gaze for a moment. We bring our attention back to the breath. And take a moment or two here before we start our day to centre ourselves, maybe to set an intention for the day ahead, to connect into how we feel in our bodies, and to notice what the breath's telling us about our physical, our emotional, our mental state. And stay there for a moment or two, just enjoying that feeling of not having to do anything. And I hope you have a great day ahead, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.